Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving right into a truly monumental piece of sporting history today. The 2026 World Cup kicked off with an absolute bang, delivering a high-stakes, ridiculously high-energy opening match where host nation Mexico triumphed 2-0 over South Africa. If you want to understand the anatomy of a perfect tournament opener, the pressure, the tactics, the sheer emotion of the host team, well, this is the match to study. We're going to unpack exactly how Mexico secured this historic victory and what caused South Africa's defense to ultimately just crumble under the brightest lights in global sports.
Now, to really grasp the magnitude of this game, you have to understand the atmosphere. The match commentary perfectly captured it with this incredible line. "I swear you'll hear the noise all the way from the Aztec to Acapulco." This wasn't just a crowd watching a football game. This was a nation unleashing years of anticipation. That immense wall of sound, it's basically the invisible 12th man on the pitch. And as we unpack this match, you'll see it played a massive psychological role from the very first whistle.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Opening. The 2026 World Cup, setting the stage for history.
So the opening match of any World Cup carries a unique, crushing weight. But when you're the host nation, that pressure is magnified tenfold. Generally speaking, home nations do pretty well in their opening fixtures. But comparing situations reveals a lot. Look at a recent host like Qatar. They face the pressure of the world stage. But Mexico? They are carrying the immense weight of a deeply passionate footballing legacy. Having hosted legendary tournaments in 1970 and 1986, the expectations placed on this squad weren't just to put on a fun show. No, they were expected to dominate and live up to the ghosts of those iconic past tournaments.
So how did this highly anticipated match actually unfold? Tracing the flow gives us a high-energy roadmap. Right out of the gate in the first minute, we saw a fiercely aggressive opening. As the half wore on, that intensity led to critical midfield errors around the 30-minute mark. This chaos perfectly set the stage for a historic first goal right at the 45th minute. And finally, around the 80th minute, a legendary veteran's strike sealed the deal. This wasn't some slow, tactical chess match. It was a rhythmic, escalating battle. Let's break down exactly how these turning points happened.
Moving right along. Section 2. Quiñones makes tournament history, the breakthrough moment.
Looking at the first major turning point, we have to talk about Mexico's sheer physical presence. They didn't just want to outplay South Africa. They wanted to physically overwhelm them right from the kickoff. And that brings us to this number, 6'5". That is the towering height of Madiva, who was just mixing it up defensively from the start. Alongside players like Israel Reyes and Alvarado, Mexico established this massive physical dominance. Whether it was contesting corners or shutting down passing lanes, the sheer size and those late aggressive challenges set a punishing tone that South Africa immediately struggled to cope with.
And the direct results of that relentless physical pressure? Well, South Africa started making critical, unforced errors. They were giving the ball away dangerously. Players were repeatedly getting caught out in the midfield, totally unable to handle the Mexican press. Even their throw-ins became aggressive but completely frantic, which just led to more turnovers. South Africa was essentially playing right into Mexico's hands, creating the exact openings the hosts were hunting for. And those midfield mistakes were punished in literally the most historic way possible. Julian Quiñones capitalized on the chaos and secured the distinct honor of scoring the very first goal of the 2026 World Cup. Think about that for a second. Out of all the players across all the teams in this massive global tournament, Quiñones is the one who etches his name into the history books first. The stadium absolutely erupted. He saw the opportunity, he fancied it, and he delivered a massive tournament milestone. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, Section 3, South Africa under pressure, a defense on the ropes. Once Mexico tasted blood, South Africa's defense truly found itself on the ropes. The cracks we saw in the midfield, they started to fracture the entire defensive line. The frantic decision-making just got worse. Moena was repeatedly caught out of position, leaving massive gaps. The pressure even got to the goalkeeper, Ron Williams, who was literally caught in two minds, hesitating right when he needed to be decisive. This constant state of panic ultimately forced defenders like Satrani into making desperate, high-risk challenges just to survive. Because Mexico's attack was relentless, they were smothering South Africa's passes and instantly gathering the ball right back up. In one particularly thrilling sequence, Brian Gutierrez unleashed an absolute rocket, a truly fair whack, only to be brutally denied by the face of the upright. It was a brilliant effort, but more importantly, it showed Mexico wasn't just sitting on a 1-0 lead. They were actively hunting for the knockout flow, keeping South Africa completely pinned back. This suffocating pressure led to one of the most critical officiating moments of the match, involving that desperate challenge by Saterni. The referee had to make a massive split-second interpretation. The commentary perfectly broke down the logical steps here. Step 1, was it actually a foul? Step 2, where exactly did the contact occur on the pitch? And Step 3, the most crucial one, was it a denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity? It's fascinating because it shows how defensive desperation forces officials to make tournament-altering calls under immense, intense pressure. But all of this intensity on the pitch doesn't happen in a vacuum. The commentators astutely drew a thematic parallel back to the 1986 World Cup, specifically highlighting the historic Belgium against Mexico match. This is what we can call the 1986 standard. It's a powerful reminder of the immense passion, the history, and the incredibly heavy expectations fueling this current Mexican squad. They aren't just trying to win a soccer game. They are literally trying to replicate the magic of their footballing ancestors on home soil.
Now, what's really interesting about this next segment is the emotional shift. Section 4, A Veteran's Glorious Milestone. Raul Jimenez seals the victory.
So the match transitioned from a story of team pressure to a deeply, deeply personal climax. After years of service to the national team, and after being blocked off and fouled all game, Raul Jimenez finally found his moment. Gathered in from a pass, he struck the ball to secure a truly glorious moment in a glorious career. He scored his first ever World Cup goal. The emotional weight of this achievement for the veteran Mexican striker just cannot be overstated. It was a career-defining milestone that happened at the exact right time, in the exact right place, right in front of his home country. And that unforgettable goal brought us to the definitive number of the match, 2. A crisp 2-0 scoreline that entirely cemented Mexico's triumphant start to the tournament and finalized the downfall of South Africa. Going up a man, keeping their composure, and finding the back of the net twice proved without a doubt that Mexico could handle the weight of the world watching. As the final whistle approached, the atmosphere inside the stadium completely shifted from tense anticipation to pure, unadulterated joy. The commentary captured this beautifully, saying, as if to match the Mexican mood, bright sunshine breaks out. It's just an incredibly evocative picture. The grueling physical battles, the midfield chaos, the frantic defending, it all just melted away into this shining moment of national triumph. Which leaves us with this final, thrilling thought. They handled the opening night jitters, they completely capitalized on their opponent's mistakes, and their veterans stepped up when it mattered most. But as we know, the tournament is long. With the dominant 2-0 opening, does Mexico have what it takes to ride this incredible home advantage and the roar of the crowd from the Aztec to Acapulco all the way through the 2026 World Cup? Time will tell, but their opening statement was undeniably loud. Thank you so much for joining me for this explain.